Well, it was Jimmy Butler's big return to Miami, and I believe it was Taylor Rooks had a report somewhere in the first quarter about how she asked Jimmy about Pat Riley, and he said, "I got nothing to say to Pat, and Pat better not have anything to say to me." And boy, the way Jimmy and the Warriors played, I kind of wish Pat had said something to him. Maybe that would have gotten a reaction.
Who cares now? Because I'm here, and I would like to think that I am wanted here.
Most importantly, he a dog.
We got 4 championships.
You are Locked On Warriors.
I know Jimmy drinks great wine.
Your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Speculation is just what it is, though.
Your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Warriors, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. You can find us on YouTube. Hopefully you're watching us there live as I speak. And, of course, wherever you get your audio podcasts, give us a like, subscribe. It just makes it easier to find us after the game. You know, no wasted time. It's free. Do it. I'm Matt Kolsky, formerly of 95.7 The Game and KNBR in San Francisco, and co-host of this show. I got the run of things tonight. Old Chuck is on a plane somewhere over the middle of America, delayed, inexorably separated from the program. So it's all me. Me and you. I want to hear from you because, listen, that stunk. I got nothing for you. Somebody in the comments before the show even started said if I hear, you know, this is what happens without Steph tonight, I'm going to lose it. And I'm not going to say that. There's no excuse for this happening with or without Steph. It was terrible. Terrible. And I don't think I'm going to tell you much that you don't know from watching. The intensity was not there from the jump. The one portion of the game where they started to bring it, they let the game slip away again before the end of the third quarter. Reggie was saying it on the broadcast. It's not often that TNT gives you all the analysis you need during the game, but they did. Warriors better get this down to 9. Oh, look, they got it to 8. Oh, look, they let go of the rope again. It's no good. And listen, I've been a pro Jimmy Butler guy since before Locked On Warriors existed, all right? I was on Jimmy Butler early when he was coming off the bench as a, end of the first round rookie for the Chicago Bulls. And I was all for this trade. And I have largely loved the results of this trade, but tonight was not good enough. You know, when he's giving you all that, it's just another game before the game starts. Fair enough. That's what you do. But when it looks like not even just another game, it almost looked like he was trying to prove that he did not care in any particular way about the basketball game tonight. I get deferring. I get trying to get other guys going. He is an unselfish player. He does make the right basketball play. But if Jimmy Butler wants to try to convince me that he doesn't know that there are times where the right basketball play is not the right thing to do if you're Jimmy Butler, I don't believe him. We've seen him do it. And beyond the fact that this is his return to Miami, every game is a big game. This is a huge missed opportunity to make hay in the standings. Right now, Warriors at 41-31 are tied in the loss column with the LA Clippers. That means the Clippers have played one less game, but if they win that one less game, which they'll play before the Warriors play again, they will be tied. And I do believe the Clippers have the tiebreaker. I'm too busy with the show programming here to actually figure out the tiebreaker situation. They definitely don't have the tiebreaker against the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are right behind the Clippers. Technically a half game behind the Warriors, but at least you got one in the loss column over them. But they need every game right now. So even if this is just another game, I need Jimmy Butler to be more aggressive. It's not a coincidence that their best stretch in the game came when he was playing aggressively. And you can't go down double digits in the first half without Jimmy Butler trying to take control of the game. According to KS, the Clippers do have the tiebreaker. Yes, the Warriors have the tiebreaker against the Wolves, but the Clippers have the tiebreaker against the Warriors. And frankly, you just don't want to be in the play-in. It doesn't matter who has what. You had a chance tonight to put legitimate distance here. And you coughed it up in a pretty hideous way. I'm going to go to your comments as much as I can tonight because I want to hear from people who are angry after watching that. My friend here in the East Bay, the Heat were all over us. The Dubs clearly were a step off all night. All night. From the opening tip. And at every moment where you were thinking, boy, if they're ever going to lock in this game, it's going to be now. You didn't get it. You just didn't get it. In the first, 10 seconds of the second half? I mean, you have a first half like that in a game like this that you need to win, that should mean something to Jimmy Butler. And they come out and turn it over right away in the second half. I'm thinking third quarter, listen, this is the time the Warriors are going to lock in. They know that first half was inexcusable. You got to turn it around now. Here it comes. Turnover right off the bat. And yes, the third quarter got better from there, but same thing to start the fourth. You just kicked away a chance to be within single digits to end the third quarter. Come out to start the fourth, and it was like 2 bad turnovers, some offensive rebounds for the Heat, and you're getting killed again. And then Steve Kerr's waving the white flag. And I hate to go to the same guy, but my friend in the East Bay is onto something here. These early leads that they give away, and I don't even know what to like. They've had how many different starting lineups to start games this year? And it doesn't seem like any of them can get off to a good start. I kind of don't know what to do with that. There are guys here, okay? If you line up the starting lineups for these teams tonight, the Warriors seem to have an edge. And honestly, they were missing a bunch of threes in the beginning of the game. They were good shots. I'm not going to get too mad at that. What I am going to get mad at is that when they are missing threes, this team does not have a curveball. And what's crazy is the roster has curveballs on it. I mean, Jimmy Butler is a curveball from three-point shooting. Jonathan Kuminga is a curveball from three-point shooting. But they just don't do it. Instead of providing that curveball, Jimmy's driving into the lane, and yes, he's drawing 2, and yes, he's finding an open shooter. But how many open shooters have to miss the rim before we decide to approach it differently? KS, Podsmo, Jimmy, Buddy, all cared, just not always at the same time. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that. But how can we be saying that in the 11th to last game of the season with a team that believes it has something, with a team that has Draymond Green talking about winning titles, and 4 guys cared, just not all at the same time? That's no good. I'm going to keep going with these comments. Embarrassing. Yes, that was embarrassing. I was waiting for somebody to make this point about Kuminga. Thank you to Rada Delgado, because I didn't want to be the first person. I know my reputation as it regards Jonathan Kuminga. Look, he wasn't great tonight. He hasn't been great since he came back. There's no debating that. When he starts posting up for threes before he puts the ball in the basket, it makes me want to pull my hair out or dye it a different color at least. But he gave them a boost in the third quarter. They got it to within 8. He had one bad turnover where he bumped into somebody and coughed it up, and then he went to the bench until garbage time. Jonathan Kuminga played 24, just under 25 minutes tonight. Why are we back to this? I get it. He makes mistakes. But you got to go with him, because if he's not a valuable part of this team is not going anywhere. And I just, it's very frustrating to me. I get it's different. I get he's having trouble fitting into the new Warriors. I get all of it. But haven't we learned that the answer to an unsteady Jonathan Kuminga is more consistent minutes, not jerking his minutes around again? I just don't get it. And frankly, like, for better or worse, if I am Jonathan Kuminga at this stage, I'm sick of this stuff and I'm not coming back. And if that's his attitude, it's not a good thing for the Warriors. It's not a good thing. A very frustrating night. A lot of people upset for a lot of different reasons, and we will continue to talk about it. But, there's no one person that you can blame for tonight. Lots of people deserve blame for what happened. We're going to get into it. We're also going to talk a little bit about Steph Curry, because honestly, I was shocked that he didn't play tonight. That tells you he must have really, really not felt good, or they really fought him hard on it. I get it, though, and we'll talk about why it kind of makes sense to me, even though, boy, you can't afford to toss away games like this. Right after this quick break.
And most importantly, he a dog.
We need more dogs.
This episode of Locked On Warriors is brought to you, as I mentioned earlier, by Monarch Money. And I got to figure out how to take the comment off the screen so that I can respect Monarch Money with the banner. There it is. You ever check into your bank account and wonder, where is my money? It happens to me all the time. Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, you lose track of where your money is going, and that is where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO. Imagine your own CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. It's not just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track everything, all your accounts, all your investments, spending, all in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. For me, it's about consolidation. It's one app. Instead of, this one for that charge, and then my credit card is over here, and I got another, all in one app. I can manage everything I need to worry about with my money, check my finances, track my spending. I can even do some, saving and planning. It's great. Plus, really good for working with your partner. Easy collaboration, shared accounts, personal accounts. It all falls in there. Everybody can stay on the same page, set goals together. It's great stuff. Take control of your finances now with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. Half off a whole year. Pretty great deal if you ask me.
And most importantly, he a dog.
We need more dogs.
They needed dogs tonight. I didn't play that by accident. That is skilled production by a radio veteran right there. They needed dogs tonight, and Jimmy is supposed to be one of those dogs. Frankly, the only consistent dog I saw tonight was Guy Santos, as always. Before he got on a plane and got stuck over the ocean, I had Chuck put Guy as a game changer on the rundown, because he was. He was the only guy in the first half that seemed to visibly care. And, man, with Jimmy Butler, it's getting a little frustrating to me, because, again, like, I understand the approach, and I understand he wants to make the right play, but he also, again, I've seen him do it. He has to know the moment where this becomes time for him to do something. And that moment came early tonight, and he did not meet that moment. And every time he fails to meet that moment in the regular season, puts a little dent in that idea of like, hey, don't worry, come playoff time, Jimmy Butler's going to be able to show up when needed. I mean, he has said as much. I'll be there when you need me. Did they not need him tonight? Because 11 points, 5 of 12, 1 free throw attempt. And again, like, it's not that he was terrible. If they hadn't been getting their butts kicked, you might even say it was a responsible approach, but it's not responsible when you're the only dude who can take over. Of course, then there's Kuminga, who had moments where he could take over, but didn't play in the moments that mattered. It's a bit of a debate in the chat about whether you potentially consider starting Kuminga. To me, it's just, sure, great, but why even talk about that when Steve Kerr won't play him more than 25 minutes if he turns the ball over? I just... Is it bad because Steph's not there? Yes. But is that an excuse for this sort of performance? I mean, look, if they had looked engaged and in it the whole way, and Tyler Hero and Bam made some big plays down the stretch. I mean, Wiggins was great tonight, you know. You could have lost this game and not embarrassed yourself. But I do think this was an embarrassing performance. I do want to jump into the Steph part of it real quick, because I was sure when I heard he was flying to Miami and, you know, evaluated before the game, listed as questionable, I was positive Steph was going to play tonight. And again, 11 games left in the season going into this game. He obviously wanted to be out there, you know. Obviously, you'd love to have him out there. So he either must have been really banged up or they just really tied him down, because I will say the extra 3 days, I mean, they don't play again until Friday. So by missing tonight, I think, you know, they certainly thought they would compete better than they did. But in the end, you get an extra 3 days of rest for a guy who clearly needs it. If you bring Steph back just a little early, and I mean, listen, I guess the question sort of becomes, what percentage of Steph Curry's health are you willing to trade for tonight's loss? Again, obviously, they expected tonight would go better without Steph Curry. But you also know when you sit Steph Curry, you dramatically decrease your odds of winning a basketball game. So, I mean, the trick of the other side is if you bring Steph Curry back a little extra sore, then he's a little more extra sore in the next game. And like that stuff is cumulative. So, you know, I was shocked that he didn't end up playing, but the more you think about it, if that extra game of rest means 20% healthier Steph come playoff time, it's a no-brainer. You'll take the loss. Now, I don't know that it has that much of an effect, but I guess I understand why they took the risk. We'll look at what's going to happen going forward. I'll take some more comments and drop them on the screen and talk about them. So stay with us, and we'll try to feel a little bit better as we head forward after a horrible Horrible night in Miami. But don't worry, they've got a couple more nights in Miami to drink it off.
Who can stop Steph Curry?
Hopefully, we'll never find out.
Hopefully, we never find out who can stop Steph Curry, because at this point, like, a performance like that, I have no prescription except more cowbell. And by cowbell, I mean Steph Curry. They need Steph Curry back, and they need him back approximately, let me check my timing here, approximately 2.5 hours ago would have been a good time. 2 hours and 37 minutes ago at tip-off was the time that they really could have used Steph Curry. I am not going to panic about this totally. I mean, this is a bad night. We all do know, though, that if Steph Curry is unavailable come playoff time, nothing matters. This team is nothing. The Berserk Monk, excellent name in the comments. Is this a glimpse into the future of life without Curry? I mean, sure, but did anyone think that was going to be good? You know, look, that's what happens when one of the 10 greatest players of all time is gone, whether for a night or when he eventually retires. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. That's not the situation you're in right now, though. Right now, Steph Curry will be back, I assume, on Friday. And you have a 10-game run that, frankly, should be a downhill run. I mean, I don't want to overstate the case of the schedule, but you certainly can't afford any more losses to teams you believe you're better than, which is what has happened the last 2 games. New Orleans, San Antonio, Memphis, and then the Lakers is the rest of this road trip. Then you're home, Denver, Houston, which is actually 2 really tough games. That stretch, LA, Denver, Houston, is very tough. Then you're at Phoenix, who's playing a little better. And then San Antonio, at Portland, and finally hosting the Clippers to end the season. And boy, the Clippers also have a relatively easy schedule. So I think it is extremely unlikely at this point, as you are even with them in the loss column. I would say it's extremely unlikely that the Warriors are going to be able to go into that game against the Clippers with any security in the 6th spot. I think it is extremely likely that they will need that Clippers game, and that's if they play pretty well. So no more messing around, for lack of a better way to describe this thing. There is no more room for nights like tonight. And I think the if I had to pick one thing, I mean, again, you could pick anything. This was really disgusting tonight. If I had to pick one thing that I feel like is somewhat controllable in terms of what I just can't bear to see again on this road trip, is you cannot start so slow. I mean, you know, we can debate about, as people continue in the chat, we could debate about who should be starting between Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga. But that's really not the point, because whichever one of them it is, the Warriors starting lineup is going to have an edge on paper most nights. I mean, certainly most nights of this 10-game stretch to end the season. You know, Lakers, Nuggets maybe can hang with you in terms of straight up who's got the better starting lineup. But you can't keep going down double digits with your best players in the game. I mean, it sounds like a stupid thing to say, but it is quite obviously not a recipe for success. We do have the great and illustrious Charlie Walter in the chat. Delay now up to 3 hours. Wow. Wow. Tried some sort of Pokeball gambit. Too much pokey. Tough night for Chuck. Tough night for the Warriors is the takeaway from this. It's like 12-4 every game. Yeah. And again, that has bridged across starting lineups. It's funny. I take notes in the same document. It's just in my notes app, and it's just a flowing document. So my notes from the beginning of the year are at the beginning of the document. Well, the bottom of the document. I work up towards the top. This is not worth explaining. The point of saying this is that I happened to stumble upon some early season notes as I inadvertently clicked to the bottom of that document earlier preparing for the show. And one of the comments was, this starting lineup has to change in October. And it did. It changed, and it changed, and it changed, and it changed. And it seems like every single starting lineup they try ends up fumbling away 8 to 10 point leads in the first 7 minutes. And it's just baffling to me. It's baffling. I don't know what to make of it. Sometimes, sure, the other guys do something. Even tonight, I gave them a little leeway on that because they were getting good shots and missing open threes. And that can happen to the best of us. Notice how I made it sound like I'm good at basketball there. It could happen to anybody. But the lack of a change in approach when that happens. The fact that whether it's missing threes, whether it's bad turnovers, whether it's the beginning of games and quarters have just not been good enough. And look, a night like tonight, the chat's going to look like this, right? I mean, here's ill will, but more than ill will are saying this team needs a complete rebuild. That I can see 7 different suggestions for who needs to be shipped out of town, who's getting just straight up cut. Frankly, those are off-season conversations. I mean, it's easy to say these things after a bad night. It's not this bad in general. But I think we have to all admit, we have to look ourselves in the mirror as Warriors people, fans, media, etc. And we have to admit that the number of times over the course of the season that this team has simply not looked up for the challenge is deeply discouraging if we're talking about anything serious in the playoffs. And I'm not even talking about winning a title. That's the furthest thing from my head right now. But even being a serious playoff team, even winning a round, even contending with the really good teams in the Western Conference, that's not a serious thing if you're going to have nights like this. Because, I mean, this looks like an old-fashioned Kevin Durant Warriors sleepwalk through the first half, turn it up in the second situation, except they're not the Kevin Durant era Warriors, so they can't just do that, especially with Steph Curry on the bench. So something has to click in here. You simply cannot have another effort like this down the stretch. Another effort like this down the stretch could cost you a playoff spot, a real playoff spot. Clippers are right there, and the Wolves are not far behind. And both those teams have easy schedules. Both those teams are playing reasonably well. And just to clean this up, because I'm sick of seeing it, they had to trade Wiggins. If you wanted Jimmy, Wiggins was the only contract you had to get it done. So after a night like tonight, obviously you say, boy, we remember all the good things Andrew Wiggins does because he had some big scoring moments. He had a couple of blocked threes. I mean, it wasn't just another game to Andrew Wiggins. And if you had given me odds on who was more likely to play with fire in their belly tonight between Wiggins and Butler, my money would have been on Butler, and I would have lost that money. So, man, I almost want to say throw the tape out, but I kind of think maybe they need to watch this thing 4 or 5 times, and Steve Kerr needs to do some screaming in the video room because you just can't afford any more efforts like this the rest of the way, period. Full stop. That's it. On the bright side, 3 days means I'm going to go out on a limb and say Steph Curry should be back on Friday. And boy, that will be a welcome sight. Also, a reasonably welcome sight. Hopefully, the New Orleans Pelicans. Again, not a good basketball team. A basketball team you can definitely beat and should beat. So let's try to wipe the taste of this mess in Miami out of our mouths. Get a W on Friday, get back on the right track, and with any luck, you can close this thing in 6th place. But again, no more nights like tonight. Can't have it. Cannot deal with it. Will not accept it. Like I have any control over it. I wish we could have spent happier time together, everybody. But I had fun nonetheless. And hopefully I'll be back on Friday along with Chuck if he's not still inexorably delayed in an airport somewhere. So get home safe, Chuck. And that's it for us tonight. Thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate you. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Locked On Warriors.